Thank you guys so much for joining. I'm Tyler Morton here with Abby Grader. She's our Director of Media and Marketing, and we're here to talk about artificial intelligence. So this is one of the most exciting things that I've seen in the past 5 to 7 years. Kind of just a quick background on what AI is and what it will mean for real estate. The main one that we're going to talk about is ChatGPT. Has anyone heard of ChatGPT? And you can ask it in the questions. I apologize. I can't, for whatever reason, figure out how to enable that for you. It shows that it's enabled on my end. But is anyone using ChatGPT? Have you heard of it? Yeah, a lot of fun to use. Yes, it's awesome. Yes. Perfect. Cool. So ChatGPT is a really cool system that came out in December that is a natural language communication, natural language chatbot, meaning you can ask it really anything. And like a lot of people, I went down the rabbit hole of, what can I ask this? And I asked it very generic questions to start with. And then I was hanging out with some of my family that was, college age. And I was like, hey, this could write a paper for you. And I showed them, very quickly on my phone. I was like, hey, what was your last paper on? And she said it was on concussions and the long-term effects of CTE. So I was like, okay, write me a paper about concussions and the long-term effects of CTE. And then you learn to tweak it just a little bit. So it was like, hey, write me a paper that's 2,500 words and make sure to include references or cite references and make sure it's, the correct format. And you can do all these different things. You just got to really know what to input into the system to do that. So ChatGPT interacts in a conversational way. The dialogue format makes it possible for ChatGPT to answer and follow questions and directions, admit its mistakes, challenge incorrect premises, and reject inappropriate requests. So the thing that I found that is really cool, and Abby, you can attest to this as well, it learns from what you're asking it. It starts to say, if you're asking it repeatedly for a certain format, it will learn that. And it will, next time you ask it something similar, it will output that format for you. So what is this good for? It's good for keyword research. It's good for copywriting. It's good for customer service. And we are only in the beginning phases of this. So we are right now in ChatGPT 3. And I believe ChatGPT 4 comes out this year. And Abby, this is not in our slide deck because I just saw it this morning. Mm-hmm. But the really cool thing is they did just open up a beta or a waiting list. I shouldn't say a beta. They opened up a waiting list for a pro version.
Oh, really?
So we knew this wasn't going to be free. Yeah, we knew this wasn't going to be free forever. But
I had hope though, because Google's free. So I was hoping that it'd be taking the place of Google, kind of.
Yep.
But
and we'll get into that here in a second. But so let me just go to the next slide. Let's take a look at how long it took for it to get to 1 million members. So Netflix took 41 months, Facebook took 10 months, Instagram 3 months. We should have put TikTok on there as well, but ChatGPT reached 1 million users in 5 days, which is absolutely insane. And if you notice, and I'll get to the website here in a second and show you some live examples, but if you go to their website, it says experiencing high demand. And sometimes, like yesterday when we were playing around with it, it was struggling on us. And so you have to come back later or at times that aren't as high usage. So this is a quote from Jason Calacanis. Knowledgeable people tell me that Google is 4 years ahead of ChatGPT. They have not released it because of the political ramifications of dramatic job loss, et cetera, from this technology. If you don't know who he is, he's an angel investor that invested in Robinhood, Wealthfront, Uber, Desktop Metal, DataStax, and a bunch of others. He's a guy that knows people that are in the know. So that's just one example. There's another one here. ChatGPT was dropped on us just a bit over 24 hours ago. It's like you wake up to the explosion of a first nuclear explosion, don't know yet what to think about it, but the world will never be the same again. Here's some interesting snapshots. And he goes through, Sheetal Shah is actually a Microsoft, I think he's a senior engineer. So this is a guy that does programming for a living. And I did see, and again, this is not in our slide deck, but I did see that Microsoft actually had a $1 billion investment back in 2019 to Microsoft. And their most recent, the company's called OpenAI, but their most recent investment is going to be based off a $27 or $29 billion valuation. So you may see ChatGPT integrated in a lot of Microsoft products, which is very intriguing to me because I started thinking about, the power of this system and what it can output. And obviously my focus is on the applications for real estate. Mm-hmm. But I started thinking, what if this was built into your phone? And instead of going to a website and typing in what you wanted to output, you could ask Siri, or you could ask Alexa, or whatever the device is. Hey, Google, you could do that and get the information that you needed. So this one I love to show because I get this question a lot, like, hey, how do you keep up on this stuff? But this one was tech jobs are a lie.
I'm convinced that tech jobs are not a real thing.
Hi, I used to work in the tech industry. I had my finger in a lot of different tech pies, proverbially. I worked in data center operations, I worked in software engineering, and I worked in cybersecurity consulting. So I've dabbled in the tech world before, and I am here to tell you that tech jobs are in fact a lie. Lie number one is that tech people are proficient and they know what they're doing. No, we don't. We just know how to Google better than you do. Seriously, like, no joke, 70 to 80% of being able to write code is knowing what to Google. That's the first big part. And then knowing how to change the code that you copy and pasted from Stack Overflow. For those who don't know, by the way, Stack Overflow is a website where if you have a problem, Stack Overflow tells you how to fix it. And if you have a problem and Stack Overflow doesn't have the answer, then you post the problem on Stack Overflow and wait for it to have the answer. Also, if Stack Overflow ever goes offline, humans, I think as a species, will probably go extinct.
All right. So I love that one.
See, instead of Googling it, though, now he's going to chat GPT it.
Well, yeah. And it's, a lot of people were like, hey, Google's dead, but it really is. Stack Overflow is going to be dead because ChatGPT can actually write code for your website. So I'm going to dig into some examples here in a second. Let me actually flip to the next slide. I'll come back to that. Let me flip this over. Well, maybe it's full screen on me. All right. So social media. This is the very first thing that I said. What can ChatGPT do? And I'm not going to output this in real time. I did this one this morning. As you can see, due to high demand on our systems, previous conversations are temporarily unavailable. But I started going through and saying, okay, what kind of information can I ask it for as an agent? And I said, okay, give me a social media strategy for a real estate agent for the next 5 days. Day one, share a post highlighting a recent sale or closing. I was like, okay, that's cool. I bet you could probably write the description for me better than I can. But I went down and said, give me an example for day 3, which was share a post that offers tips for buyers and sellers in the local market. Now, please know, this is not 100% correct every time. We have found multiple times where it's like, hey, you can't say that as a real estate agent because it violates fair housing on familial status or other things that are similar.
So be very cautious.
Yeah, you certainly can't just copy and paste this. You need to make it more engaging. And by more engaging, I mean, you need to proofread it. You need to say, okay, if I just copy and pasted this, here's an example of a social media post that could be shared on day 3. Are you thinking of buying or selling a home in the near future? Stay informed with the latest market trends. In Beaver Creek, Ohio, the average home price has risen by X percentage. You still have to fill that out because the thing that really blew my mind about this system is it's not connected to the internet. So it doesn't know these stats for you right now. It read the internet over the past few years and only knows stats up through 2021. So, all right. So ChatGPT, when I downloaded just now in the app, is $4.99 a week. There is no app for it. So the website, if you look at my URL here, is chat.openai.com. So I'm not sure what app there might be on the App Store, if it's somehow connected to this, but currently ChatGPT is free.
It's like typing in google.com. It's the same thing. You're just typing in a URL and it'll take you to this to type in stuff.
So I said, okay, give me that example. It gave it to me. And I said, add emojis for engagement because I like emojis when I post stuff to Facebook, right? So here's an example of the social media post with emojis. And it only added a few here. You could say add more if you wanted to. And then I said, okay. And that's where this next slide comes in. Let me go back to view slide. Whoops. So I think this is the biggest and best use for this. This came from Nick McLean, and he did an AI webinar, I think twice in the last month. But he said, we finally dated the Millionaire Real Estate Agent book. The 33 touch system is dead and not coming back. I've developed a 290 touch system that generated 73 closings in 2022 with a return on investment of 73 to 1 with enhancement of language generating AI. If you don't learn to touch your leads meaningfully using AI, someone else will. If Zillow doesn't figure out how to go hyper-local with its content using AI, the local agent powered by AI will dominate. Are you or your team going to become the AI-powered agency that dominates the local market with rich, professional, valuable content at a rate that cuts through the noise? Recipes and daylight savings time reminders are in the Stone Age. Guys, we do not need, and I think that's the biggest thing is when you're sending emails, 290 emails or touches to your database sounds ridiculous. But if it's actually valuable content, it's not going to be conceived as spam. When you send them a daylight savings reminder, when their phone tells them that or automatically changes their clock, you are now spam. So stop sending out the daylight savings reminders. There's one exception to that. Dave Stevens, an agent of ours, and this is a few years ago, probably at least 5 years ago, he recorded a really cool video of himself, and it was funny. So it was engaging, but it was him like every clock in his house, like moving back an hour or moving forward an hour. And he edited it all together. I think it was like 30, 45 seconds. But he just said, hey guys, happy spring. Call me.
Well, he also does other content besides that. So like posting just that like something like that once every 3 months isn't going to really do anything for you.
Right.
No, I mean, it's just not once every 3 months. It's not going to do much.
No, I completely agree. And so that goes along with the, this guy's saying 290 touch system. I think so often we're afraid to send something out on that frequent of a basis because it's not valuable. And because people say unsubscribe or they say spam. And just as an example, if you received the email for this webinar, if you received or saw the Facebook post for this webinar, those were all written copy by ChatGPT. I didn't write that at all. And typically that would take me usually an hour to tweak and fine tune. And it did it within 30 seconds. I made my little quick edits to it. I added the emojis for engagement on the Facebook post. I even had it write me, and I didn't have time because we've been really just doing a ton of research on this over the last week. To add stuff like this slide, which I added in this morning. Abby's looking at it going, I've never seen this in my life.
I've not, but now I have.
But it is one of those things where if you're not taking advantage, and it goes back to the last video that we just watched, and hopefully you guys could hear that. But it really comes down to, are you better at Googling things? Are you going to be better at ChatGPT? Are you going to send out items of value so that you're cutting through this noise? So number 3 on his list says lead agents and lead conversion sequences. When was the last time you dusted off the cobwebs of your email and text strip sequences that are going out through your CRM, whether it's Follow Up Boss or Boomtown or Sierra, Ylopo, et cetera? The average consumer is going to 8 different websites before they finally pick an agent that's probably emailing them to death or calling them to death. Or they end up going with somebody completely different. That's why conversion rates are so low. The nationwide average actually has decreased, I think, from 3% down to 2%, because we're really all in a crowded room yelling the exact same thing and trying to see who's loudest. So the 33 touch system is dead. But if you're providing them value without asking for anything in return, I think that's where the money really is going to start happening. So conversion rates have steadily declined. You can keep blaming your agents for not making phone calls or take responsibility for lead conversion sequences being outdated and needing to be updated. We updated our sequences and increased our open rates by 10% and click-through rates by another 10%. So the way that he's doing that is by doing stuff like this. We'll get to Jasper here in a second. But I said, hey, give me an idea for an email to send to past clients, a personal note of thanks, and an update on the real estate market. This was, hey, probably to clients that would have been in the last year. That would have been a great year-end email to send. Give me another example. Here's an example of an email you should send to past clients. Hope this email finds you well. We want to reach out about a new listing. We're doing a virtual open house. That's valid content. You could do it on CMAs. You could do it and try to make this content evergreen, meaning it never goes, never expires. This could be blog posts that you put on your website. I've had it write, I think, at least 6 different blogs, more than that, 16 different blogs in the past month. I've got some on our recruiting site. I've got some on my personal blog, and I've done a bunch just as examples. And so I think that was one of the questions, and I've got the slides out of order, but Abby and I did ask it the exact same question, and it came up with 2 totally different results. So you don't think that you're going to get the same thing as the agent down the street. It does depend on your input, but it also depends on how you're going to tailor it, and it's going to give you kind of randomized results. So we'll show that example here in just a little bit. But okay, what other content can I provide that would be helpful? Or I asked it what it could provide for a real estate agent. Blog posts, photos and videos, which it does not do, but we're going to get into another system later that does. Testimonials and reviews. You could, you could input a review and say, come up with a response for this review, and it will give you that so that you can copy and paste that in your response to Google reviews. Infographics and interactive maps, it does not do. I don't know why it gave me that information. It's just saying,
you got to read it through first.
Right. Guides and ebooks. This one's huge. A lot of agents don't have buyer guides or seller guides. It can create this. So I said, okay, create a first-time home buyer guide, write it for a 5th grade reading level. And it did this very, very short one, but you add images into that little quick guide. And I said, give it a more detailed, and that's when I got the network error. So we're going to try that again. Let me refresh the screen. We'll see if we can get it. Okay, so you see we're experiencing exceptionally high demand. Please hang tight as we are scaling our systems. I cannot imagine what the server bill is for this. Okay, I cannot, let's see.
Weird, because like last week I was using it and it was totally fine, but today and yesterday it's been the same.
All right, give me a detailed guide for a first-time home buyer. I didn't ask it to do write it for a 5th grader this time. All right, so it's writing almost identical to what it already did, and that's probably because I've already asked it this question. So I'm actually going to go back. We'll see if I can really break this. Okay, whoops. All right, so it's not identical because it said daunting task, and now this time it said exciting. So you may want to pick and choose. Oh, got the network error response. But you get the idea. You could add content for any kind of download, which could be a squeeze page that you could send to past clients, to potential clients. You could post on your social media site. You could have on your website. And just a really easy way to get an email or a contact information for somebody that's never been to your site, and then find out the interest of those that are in your database already. So a lot of different things that you can do, and it really comes down to what you input into the system and taking the time to do it. But you want to create that evergreen content. We've changed our drip dramatically. My team has in the past 6 weeks to be very YouTube oriented. We did a video, and you can have this do a video script, which is really cool. If you don't know what to say, you can create a YouTube script. I'm going to try one more chat.
Well, not even just video script. Like it'll literally tell you pan in, pan out, do a B-roll footage of a house. Like it'll give you an entire step-by-step guide to even filming the video.
All right. So what types of videos should I do as a real estate agent? All right. Property tours. We know those work really well. Location and neighborhood videos. Love that. All right, give me an example of expert advice video. Top 5 tips for first-time home buyers. All right. And you could say long form for YouTube, or you can do short form for like Instagram. It's giving me a specific property, which I didn't want. Hold on, I want to redo this. No, I need a script for. But yeah, you can see here it is, opening shot of the property exterior with music in the background, the voiceover, cut to interior shots. Like, it's planning out the entire video. Abby, what does this look like for you as a marketer and media specialist?
I mean, I won't lie. I think it scares a lot of people in terms of jobs for sure. Because right now it doesn't have that creative edge that I think a lot of marketers have still in terms of making it more on brand. But who knows 5 years from now what this will be capable of. So it's scary. But at the same time, 10 years ago, social media, or 15 years ago, social media wasn't really a thing. And now we have digital marketing. That's a huge part of marketing. So who knows what could come out of this. So I'm scared, but excited and trying to learn as much as I can about it. That way I can adapt with it.
And I think you're exactly right. At first, when we saw it, I was like, oh my gosh. We watched videos of lawyers and doctors even going, this could take my job, because it diagnosed a patient based on prior medical history. It wrote a 10-member LLC out of Wyoming with one member having the majority and voting rights and yada, yada, yada. It does these things. It knows this content. So it is terrifying, the amount of knowledge this has. And this is GPT-3. We talked about GPT-4. This has, and I'm talking completely nerdy now, but this has 175 billion parameters in input into its language system. And ChatGPT-4 will have 1 trillion. Now imagine Google being 4 years ahead and what that system could do. So I applaud you guys for being on this webinar. We sent out over 10,000 emails to people for this, and we had right around 100 people decide to jump on. So you have an immense advantage over the other 9,900 plus agents in your market. You have first mover advantage. So it is up to you to learn this system and implement it into your business, because if you're not, I do believe there will be agents that do, and all of a sudden have, we talk about blogging. Blogging sounds very 2012-ish. But if you have a website that looks like everybody else's and has the exact same information as everybody else's, because that's what 99.9% of agents do, you're going to be forgotten. And I don't say that lightly. Obviously this is still a personal relationship business, but that's why it's important to have 290 emails go out to your database every year, so that they know that that content's available on your website. And you could literally put it on your website and copy it and make it into an email. So there's so much that you can do utilizing this. And it's very, very cool and exciting. Mm-hmm. So it's not something you need to spend hours on every day. You could spend 5 to 10 minutes a day and have 365 pieces of content over the next 12 months. So the next one is,
all you have to do is spend 10 minutes a week with it and just have it write content for you. And you'd be set for a week, a month. I mean, it's wild.
Yeah. And I will have an offer for everybody on the webinar at the end. So stay tuned for that. I'm going to see, okay, how does it know the answers to all these questions? Where does the information come from? Basically, it's read the entire internet. It's the easiest way that I can describe it. And yeah, we got where does the AI get the info from? It's interesting. Can we do a YouTube video webinar class so we can learn how to create and edit videos? Absolutely, Kevin.
Yes, I've been meaning to do that actually, like doing an iMovie tutorial. So definitely, yeah.
Well, Abby has already created the Facebook and Instagram guides, which you should have available to you here shortly. Facebook, I believe, is already launched, but we'll be revising some of those too with additional ChatGPT content.
Every year, I'm telling you, every day, really, things change.
So we'll be launching those soon. And then I do have, I think I've got at least 8 of the YouTube, getting started with YouTube videos created. So stay tuned for those as well. But yeah, so let's dig into Jasper. I want to talk about some other AI systems real quick. I've actually been using Jasper for almost a year. I just finally canceled my account. It does cost money. But Jasper was kind of a precursor to ChatGPT, and you could have it write listing descriptions for you, and it was very, very good at those. It's more natural. It's not quite as robotic as ChatGPT. They received $1 billion in funding in the last year as one of the new tech titans or tech tools of the year. And it's really, really simple to use, and you can have it. What I found that was really good at writing was sales letters, because it uses the formula like, create demand, or create the issue, which is basically ask a question, offer a solution, and then resolve. And so it provides that framework, and it does it a little bit differently than ChatGPT, where you have to know what to input, and it has all these formulas there for you to say, okay, that's what I'm actually looking for. And you click a button and it goes. DALL-E 2 is the AI system that can create realistic images and art from a description in natural language. This is actually by OpenAI, the same people that do ChatGPT. And I want to show you an example because these are gorgeous. None of these are real. None of this is real. These were all AI generated images on beautiful cars. Looks like at a car show or at an auction, or I don't know, but these were generated. I saw these and I was like, how are these not real?
Just a lot of photography jobs. Goodbye.
Well, that's what, Abby and I were talking yesterday, and it's like, I own a media company with an in-house photographer, and it's like, hey, if it can do this, what is the future of editing look like? Because, taking a photo with your phone, these are only getting better. And it's becoming, I can walk around, I can do video with my phone and have amazing quality. The editing portion of video takes a while. The editing portion of photos is getting slimmer and slimmer as we can batch edit things with certain settings and then tweak them. But I imagine in the near future, you're going to have AI systems that are editing photos. And we've actually got an example of that. Abby sent me this one called interior.ai. It does interior design mockups and virtual staging done by AI. And here's what it looks like on their website. So you've got kind of a plain bedroom. We've all had a listing that looks just like this. And it makes it look real fancy with looks like shiplap on the ceiling and on the walls. We've got kind of a boring living room here. Whoops, I went too fast. Boring living room with some dated furniture, and then they make it look nice and chic and add a ceiling fan. So that's all done by AI. And I was like, this is very cool. I'm excited for this because I own a media company, and this would make some of our virtual staging a lot easier. And this is a pay for service. But I tried to do this myself, and this was the result that I got. So you can see a photo that we took, and it put a couch kind of in the middle of the room here. You can see the ceiling fan is not able to be seen. And this one over here, this was a photo of, kind of a dated family room because it's yellow and tans and has, oaky furniture and some bulky furniture. And it did the exact same thing. It put that couch right in the middle of the room. And then I don't have a clue what it did here, other than the fact that I think it was trying to take the background from that photo and basically hide what was in this room. So it's not there yet, but it's coming. I mean, if they got these results on their website, I would assume that they can certainly tweak.
Well, actually, the ones before that I did.
Oh, you did these?
I did those, yeah.
Well, yours are way better than mine.
I think it depends on the color of each room and like how it's laid out. Like these are very basic with the wall in the back, and the other ones, I think it just really depends on the layout of the room. So I wouldn't rely on it by any means yet, but I think it just really depends on a lot of different factors for this. But who knows 5 years from now what this will be capable of?
Yeah. So
Staging might not even be a thing.
yeah, so if you're interested in that, that is called Interior.ai, and there are a number of other AI systems out there. But check that one out. It is free to try. I did sign up for the trial and immediately canceled it after it did that to my images. I think it was $29 a month. But check that one out for sure. Here's an example. We talked about duplicate material. This slide got out of order. I don't know who did which one, but we just said, hey, write a blog about Fairborn, Ohio. And you can see the difference.
I think a key factor with it making it different is it's relying on what you had said previously. So when we were typing stuff out, like on Tyler's, it mentioned certain stuff that he had asked previously that I hadn't asked. So it's remembering what you're asking and incorporating it into the copyright that you're asking it to produce. So that's what makes it different too.
Yeah, it doesn't do that every time though. What I found is that like I always ask it for emojis when I'm asking it for a Facebook example post. But it started to remember that I would ask that every time and started giving me that without asking. And then the last one you can see I had to ask as well. And then going back real quick, the image that I used on the sign up page for the webinar, that was created by DALL-E as well. So I think Abby had a little bit of fear when I said, hey, Abby, here's the info for the webinar. And by the way, I already generated the image for it. And she was like, what? So
that's what I'm saying. It's scary for a lot of people, I think.
All right, so here's a couple other examples. Synthesia is the #1 rated AI video creation platform. It's used by companies like Google and Reuters, and I think Amazon. And I'm going to show you an example of that, as well as Maverick, which is kind of like BombBomb on steroids, and a little bit terrifying as well. So I actually want to do this one first. This one's a little creepy. It's not quite there yet, but I can imagine this as a talking head down at the bottom of a video. So you're not just staring at kind of this weird AI creature.
Mm-hmm.
Welcome to our real estate Instagram. Are you looking for a new home in Dayton, Ohio?
And this script was
Look
done
no
entirely
further.
by ChatGPT.
Our team of experienced real estate professionals is here to help you find the perfect home for you and your family. Whether you're a first-time homebuyer or a seasoned pro, we have a variety of homes available to suit your needs and budget.
All right, so you get the idea. It's a talking avatar that is not real. All I did was put in the text. It automatically generated the video. And I don't think the technology is quite there yet. You could probably tweak it a little bit. You can add emphasis on words. You can say, hey, this didn't work or this did work. And there is a subscription-based model with this, but it's not something that I'm going to use in my everyday business. There are a lot of Fortune 500 companies, like I said, using this. I think more for training, because they'll have a slide and they'll just put in their information and have this talking kind of in the bottom corner. Hey, welcome to Google. Here's how you get started. Here's your key card and login and yada, yada, yada. But
it's just reminding me like every science fiction movie ever made, like Blade Runner, like iRobot, like all this stuff is actually happening. It's kind of wild.
So I'm going to get to Maverick here in just a second, because that one's going to disappoint some people. But Veed.io, this is another one that you can play with, and Descript is another one that we did not mention. Descript's really cool because you can actually put the text in, and it or you can actually generate the text from your voice. And then if you messed up and said something wrong, it will actually replace what you said with the correct. It will learn your voice and it will input that. So, but I wanted to really push what we could do with AI and say, hey, could I create, without ever being on video, could I create a video from scratch using ChatGPT and some other tools that are out there? And I do not have a pro version of this account. It's called Veed.io. And I just said, okay, I'm going to input the text from ChatGPT, and this is all going to be about Beaver Creek, Ohio. I'm going to find B-roll footage that's free and licensed, and it actually does use some of that. So we'll go ahead and watch this real quick, and you choose the voiceover.
Welcome to Beaver Creek, Ohio. Nestled in the rolling hills of Greene County, this charming community is the perfect place to call home. From spacious single-family homes to luxurious apartments, Beaver Creek has a variety of real estate options to suit every lifestyle. In addition to its beautiful neighborhoods, Beaver Creek is also home to a thriving business community, with plenty of shopping, dining, and entertainment options. With its convenient location just a short
Okay, that's actual B-roll footage of Dayton. The first two were not, but
drive from downtown Dayton, Beaver Creek is the perfect blend of suburban living and city amenities. So if you're looking for your dream home in a tight-knit community with a high quality of life, look no further than Beaver Creek, Ohio.
and it actually had a video of the Popcorn Festival, which was the big festival that it showed. So in less than 5 minutes, I think I created a video, and it's terrible. I would never publish something like this, but it's only going to get better. And that was kind of, I wanted to push the limits of what I could do. And if I had my own B-roll footage, this would absolutely be fine. I watch tons of YouTube videos, probably more YouTube than I do actual TV. And I see all the time these automated videos like this, where it's showing me, here's the top 10 tools to have for 2023. And it could be tech tools. It could be actual like power tools, or, all these different videos, and they're identical to this. You never see an actual person talking. It's a voiceover. And I think previously a lot of these people were using professional voiceover voices that they got from Fiverr or something like that. But now you can just put in the text and you don't even spend money on that. So again, not my favorite. I wouldn't publish it, but it is getting there. Let's see. Let's get back to my slides real quick. All right, this is one of my favorite new tools. And I apologize to anyone in my office that is going to feel duped by this. It was certainly not my intention, but I wanted to see how legitimate it was. So what Maverick does is takes a video that you create, which I would typically do with BombBomb, but I wanted to send out a Merry Christmas to all of my agents. We've got over 200 of them. There's no way I could have spent the time to do that. I would have messed up 30 times. And so what it does is creates this really cool video that looks just like BombBomb. And the point is, it knows your name because I uploaded a database, or you can trigger it with something like Zapier, and it records this.
Adrian,
So I want you to pay attention to the beginning because it says Adrian, and I've never said the word Adrian in my life.
Adrian, I just wanted to take a moment to wish you and your family a very Merry Christmas.
All right. So I recorded the second half of that video, or actually like the back 95% one time. And then I was able to upload that, and it automatically personalized it to everyone in my office. So we're using this for a couple different things. I've used it obviously for that, which now that the cat's out of the bag, I won't be doing again. But we will be doing it for lead follow-up. So I've got another video that automatically triggers when we have a new lead come in, and it will start out with Abby. Thank you so much for taking the time to check out our website. I'm Tyler Morton, the broker on our Remax Victory and Affiliates. Hopefully Shannon or Lauren or Rachel on my team has gotten a hold of you, but I wanted to reach out personally and make sure that you know that I'm available to answer any questions that you might have. So that is an automated trigger video that is personalized and customized to that person. There's another one that does something similar. I tried it the other day. I think it's BeLive. I'm going to mess it up. I'm not even going to show it. But there's another one out there that does something very similar. This one was developed by guys from MIT and Stanford. And what I've seen is that the majority of the videos were very, very good. The one that it sent me as an example, because I had it send me one, so I knew when they went out, said Tywer. I was like, great. That's not what I sound like. And the mouth was kind of off. So they do recommend.
The farther away you are, the better. That way you don't see the mouth as much.
Yeah, they said like 6 to 8 feet. They want you to have consistent audio so you don't have like a dog barking in the background on the first one. They want you to have it kind of in the same setting. But yeah, I mean, guys, this is tip of the iceberg stuff. It keeps me up at night to think of what else I can ask Chat GPT to do, what other, video and email stuff is coming out, video and even image creation. So I do want to open it up for questions, and I see we've got some here. All right, Stephanie said when you said my name when you sent it to me, the mouth didn't move with my name. LOL. So yeah, there were a few of those. If I would have just said Beth, you would have been good to go. What was the name for staging photos?
I think it was like design.ai or something, or
No, let me go back here real quick. Interior.ai.
Yeah, not design. Do you ever sleep?
Yes.
Rarely though, like maybe 2 hours a night or something.
I went to bed last night at 11 and I got up
Really,
at
11?
and then I got up at 2 and I was up till 5 and then went back to sleep for an hour.
How are you functional?
Normal.
Normal.
All right. So one of the things that I do want to do, we are the IO. What does the IO stand for? That's just a different, it seems to be a catchy, since a lot of the .com sites are taken, IO has become kind of a very tech-based domain name structure. So I own a couple of those. Some of them, like liveoh.io. I just kind of did a play on words for that one because Ohio works really well for that.
Mm-hmm. That's true.
Any other questions that you guys have? One of the things that I will do, if you guys are interested, gosh, I wish I could open up the chat. If I knew how to work Zoom, we'd be in great shape. I'm going to turn off my screen share real quick. And let's see if I can do it now. Let's see. There we go. Turn off screen share and you've got more options. All right, everybody can chat.
Oh.
Panelists can chat with everyone and guests can chat with everyone. All right, so while it's pretty cool and we don't want to lose the personal touch, I agree. It depends on what you're using that for sure. But yeah, chat is open. And if you guys are interested, one of the things that we're going to do, we use Chime internally for all of our agents. So we're going to take and we're going to create a weekly email that you can send to your past clients or to your database. And we're just going to have it in Chime for you. So all you have to do is press go. But if you guys want to be added to that list, if you're not with our office, we can make sure that you have those as well. Obviously, you can do this on your own. But if you don't want to take that leap and you want some assistance with that, just write yes in the chat. And if slides to review after, yeah, absolutely, Joe. I'll post those in there. I'll actually send out a follow-up email with the slides. I'll probably have them on the, if you guys, some of you registered before we had the domain live, but it will be on aiagentacademy.com. I'll make the slides live on there.
And yeah, Bob, I think recently, like today and yesterday, for some reason, it's been very active. When I was using it last week, though, it was working really well. So I don't know, maybe because people are finding out about it more, so there's more activity going on. But
yeah, for a while there, for access, it was requiring almost like a waiting period because they were growing so quickly. You get an example every week of stuff that you can send out. Any other questions before we go? Abby, anything you want to add?
I think we covered pretty much everything. I'm scared, nervous, excited. I think this is going to be really big in terms of like the creation of Google, creation of social media. I think that's how big this is, if not bigger. I think only time will tell how this will impact everybody in terms of jobs and content and everything.
Berger said we haven't even started, and I agree. Bob,
Yeah.
you access the weekly email. It will be in your templates within Chime. And then
So
if you're not,
exciting stuff.
yeah, if you're not one of our agents, we'll just kind of send that out on a weekly basis. and you can copy and paste it. All right. We'll allow another 30 seconds for last minute questions, but I promised I would keep this around 40 minutes, and we are there. So thank you again, everyone. Oh, Shannon did ask, is there talk about there being a charge for it soon? Yes, if you missed the very first few minutes of the webinar, I actually just signed up. There is a waiting list for the pro version. And they ask you a bunch of questions like, hey, what's the most you'd pay for this? And what's the least that you think it's not worth it? And where do you think it should be priced? And I said, I would love to see it. And I know I'm way off here, but I want to make sure that I skew the numbers in my favor. I said $49 would be fantastic. 120 would be a little bit steep. 19 would be way too cheap. So I would probably pay $100 a month for this. No problem. If not, $199 a month, because it is way cheaper than hiring an assistant that you would typically have do a lot of this legwork for you and write this content. Matt, thank you for joining as well. We need to do lunch soon. Yeah, that's all I got. It's a brave new world out there, but we're going to embrace it and we're going to take advantage. That's the other thing. I did watch another guy talking about AI and assistants, and it was like, hey, I don't feel bad that I'm not paying this person, $4 an hour. Because a lot of those assistants that are overseas, I think there is a moral dilemma for a lot of people. And that's kind of why I've never done that, because it's not a livable wage. But AI kind of takes care of that. But again, you do have other ramifications on, hey, this is going to take a lot of jobs.
Mm-hmm.
Bob says, Abby, your skills will always be marketable. No machine can replace a human instincts. I agree.
Thank you, Bob. Thank
Don't
you.
worry, Abby. You're not going anywhere.
I know that, but it's a scary world. But I think with anything, like I said before, the creation of social media created a big part of digital marketing and jobs there. So who knows what this will create in terms of jobs for different types of people. It's just important to keep the ball on it and learn as it's being created.
Well, I think this allows you to, this allows you as one person to create the amount of content that it would normally take 4 people.
Mm-hmm.
And do it in the same time, like I said, 10 minutes a day. Lydia said, I missed it. Were you discussing chat AI? Yes, absolutely. There will be a recording. So I will make sure that you guys get a copy of the recording as well. So, all right. Thank you guys all for joining. Make it a great day, and make sure to visit ChatGPT. If you just Google it, you will find it. And that will probably be the last time that you ever use Google. No.
Probably. And they're probably scared of that too. So
have a good one. Talk to you soon.
have a good one.